This is the Wrestlebread Podcast, bringing you the latest news, recaps, and analysis of AEW and WWE. Get the unique perspective from a wrestling fan of over 25 years. Here's your host, Jaydee.
What's going on, guys? This is Jaydee, and this is episode 155 of the Wrestlebread Podcast. So, happy belated Father's Day to all the dads and the dads-to-be out there. We also had Juneteenth that happened as well. I mainly stayed home, and we, brought a nice breakfast and dinner for the hubs here. But, yeah, it was a very quiet weekend, especially after all of us getting over COVID and everything and trying to readjust to a normal schedule as well. But we are steamrolling wrestling-wise to another pay-per-view this weekend, and then there's going to be a pay-per-view the following weekend as well. Also, as nerd fans out there, it's getting very expensive to be a fan. First off, I don't think I mentioned this before, but I love the Obi-Wan series. Of course, with Darth Vader in there. Loving, I am going to join any petition for us to get a Darth Vader series. Because I was going to say a movie, but I don't think 2 hours is enough. I will like a 10-episode series. I can watch Darth Vader just terrorize, the galaxy for hours. But I like the series so far. Also, going over to football, the Eagles had changed their logo. Now, I'm not the Eagles fan, but that bad boy looks trash. I mean, it's very Microsoft Word font. I like the logo that it looks before. It looks, it kind of matches the mean looking eagle, but now it's just, I don't know, it's very high school to me. The font looks very high school to me. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out on Twitter. It's a lot of people are very upset about it in Philly, and I really do not blame them. Also, this past week has been a lot of crazy news. So, as I had talked about previously with the allegations against Vince McMahon, he has temporarily stepped down as CEO. Stephanie McMahon will be taking his place. And, if you thought that Vince McMahon would be, sitting somewhere crying, he's not. That man showed up on SmackDown and Raw with a smile on his face, people were singing his song and bowing to him and standing and clapping and things like that. No, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that people are surprised that he got that reception. That man could commit murder on live TV and it'll still be people bowing to him and cheering and singing the song and everything. So I'm not surprised by that. I am surprised that it's taken the board this long to unveil anything that needs to be investigated. That man has done so much shit over the past couple of decades. And like I said before, I'm surprised that, we're just finding it, this came out publicly and that it's only one person he's paid off. And then people were upset that he had an affair and stuff like that. And I think I said this on the last episode and I'll say it again. People must not either have been fans back in the Attitude Ruthless Aggression era or were just not born, where that man had multiple storylines of him kissing divas and having affairs. Of course, the most two of the ones that came to mind, and the third one I was incorrect on. Trish Stratus, who he made out with. That storyline was when Linda McMahon had a mental breakdown and she was in a wheelchair and stuff like that. And Vince McMahon literally would have segments of having Linda wheeled out, and then he'll stand in front of her and just tongue down Trish Stratus. And this is before Trish Stratus started wrestling, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And then there was Candice Michelle, who was the sex slave. And I mentioned Dawn Marie, but I got her mixed up. Dawn Marie actually had a segment with Tori Wilson and her dad. She wasn't involved in an affair storyline with Vince McMahon. But he did kiss Stacy Keibler, Tori Wilson, on her first night with the company. She was immediately thrust into a storyline where she kissed Vince McMahon. Who else did he kiss? He kissed someone else too. But yeah, I'm not shocked that it came out he actually had affairs. He even admitted that they had affairs on Linda. I forgot where he said this on, but he even admitted that he had affairs during his marriage with Linda McMahon. So I'm not exactly shocked. I just I laughed, truthfully, honestly, when Vince came out and on SmackDown he came out, said, the then, now, forever together, tossed the mic and walked out of the ring. And then on Raw, which I don't think he was even announced for Raw, he comes out, mentioned how Raw has been going on for so long. He thanked the fans, talked about Cena's coming back, walked out the ring, and he jumped off the fucking steel steps. I mean, that man might as well have literally skipped out to the ring for, pull a Bianca Belair type of situation here. But I'm not surprised. I don't expect him to be. Now, if they fire, I don't know if if the board has recently changed or something like that, because the board has been around since 1999, and all the shit that happened that Vince McMahon was doing and things like that definitely has been going on since 1999. So I don't know, maybe there's no new people on the board or something like that. That now that they're looking more into what he's doing or something. I don't know. I don't know. Not saying he should get away with anything, but he's gonna I will be surprised if he doesn't get away with it. That's all I'm gonna say here. WWE is still gonna go on, as we see. People gonna tune in. I didn't even check the ratings of how many people tuned in to SmackDown when it was announced that he was gonna be on there. So I'm sure the numbers went up because everybody was going to tune in to see what he was going to say. But yeah. Also, John Laurinaitis was also involved with the situation as well. He has been placed on administrative leave. There was rumors that he may be actually let go. But as of right now, Bruce Pritchard will serve as the interim head of talent relations. And of course, people started making jokes about Bruce Pritchard, stuff like that. And then of course everybody starts talking about how Stephanie McMahon and Kevin Dunn don't get along and stuff like that. I don't know what's going to be done with that. Was she gonna fire? Y'all expect her to fire him? And then people was like, well, if she can hire Triple H and Paul Heyman and stuff like that. I'm like, look, everybody calm the fuck down. And it's already been put out there that Vince McMahon is actually the one who's still in charge. All he did was just step down as CEO. He's still in the back. He's still in control. The moment that he decides to completely give up control and officially step down from CEO, I will be very surprised. Also, there has been rumors. This was talked about with WrestleVotes and Sean Ross Sapp that apparently Sasha Banks has been released and was released a while ago, which I find really I don't know. I don't really believe that rumor because she is still on the roster on the website. and you can still buy her merchandise. Well, wait, I don't know if you can still buy her merchandise, but she's still on the roster last when I had checked yesterday. And then if she was released, like, wouldn't somebody say something? Like, why keep it a secret if she's released, if she can't do anything for 90 days anyway? Like, I fully expect them to, like, release her the day before her contract expires. But I don't think, I would find it very hard to believe that she was actually released and nobody say anything. I would think, to have the news concentrate on something, outside what's going on with John Laurinaitis and Vince McMahon, that they would announce that she has been released so people can, start talking about that. Because guess what people are not talking about anymore, and that's MJF. I don't see anything about the dirt sheets of what's going on with MJF because everybody's talking about what's going on with WWE. So I think the smart thing, if this was actually true that she was released, is to have people stop talking about what's going on with Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis, was to talk about how Sasha Banks is officially released. So, I think Vince McMahon coming out and stuff like that is showing, like, it doesn't even matter what he did. It's not hurting WWE's image and brand. I'm sure that's what he's going to say. Like, look, I came out to 2 different cities, 2 different days, and look at the numbers. Look how many views it gained just from the announcement of me showing up. Look how many people tuned in. Look how the fans responded to me. Okay. This is something that happened a very long time ago. And I'm sure his lawyer is going to address all that as well. Look how the fans have recepted to it. It's not a bad image to the company. Give it a couple of more weeks and it'll be swept under the rug. Nobody will be talking about this anymore. Just like all the damn things that man has done over the past couple of years. Because people completely forget about the fact that he said the N-word on live TV. Like I said, the whole situation with Trish Stratus and stuff like that, and the way that the women were treated back in the day, and the crazy storylines that he had wanted to do. So I'm not surprised. Give this a couple of weeks. We're going to be talking about something else as well. On to some good news. The Rock had posted on Instagram, on his social media, that he brought Tamina a new house. Bless her heart. Not only a new house, but a new car as well. I thought she had 3 kids, but look, I think she has 3 kids. She either has 2 or 3 kids. But yeah, I'm very happy for her. The Rock has been blessing, a lot of people's close to him, but I'm happy for her. So she's been sticking it out with WWE for the longest of time. I mean, I believe she started with the Usos, and look at where the Usos are and look where she's at. The Usos are multi, time champion, and, we are still waiting. We are still hoping that she would, get a lengthy tag team title run. I definitely remember that part. But I'm happy for her. Congratulations to her as well. If The Rock is willing to give out any more new houses, if he has, like, if he has money from the, Black Adam, or, the Fast and Furious series, that he, like, he has this bulk of money, he says, you know what, I need to do something with this, come holler at your girl. You know what I mean? I would like to take a house in the suburbs of Philly, you know what I mean? Not even that expensive. I'm not looking for a $1 million house, just $500,000, 4-bedroom, 3-bath type of house situation. Not a row home, obviously, but just throw me a $500,000 house in the suburbs. I'll be happy. It'll be a drop in the bucket for this guy. Also, very sad news. Rest in peace we lost 2 referees this past week. First is Tim White, who had passed away at 68 years old, who has refereed numerous matches for WWE over the years as well. And also Dave Hebner, the twin brother of Earl Hebner. He was very famous for the evil twin angle with Hulk Hogan when he was feuding with Andre the Giant back in the day as well. So thoughts and prayers go out to both their families. that, during this hard time. And I believe Dave Hebner was in his 70s. If I'm not mistaken, from what I have read, he was dealing with dementia and Parkinson's disease, which, dementia is so tough to watch someone suffer from dementia. But my thoughts and prayers go out to both of the families. Um, there's also a tweet that's been floating around for like the past few days of AEW belts that's on sale for $3 at Walmart. I don't know where this Walmart is at because I didn't see it in my Walmart. Not that I actually looked for it, but I did go shopping for at Walmart not too long ago, and I didn't go past by. I didn't see, a big ass display of titles for $3. However, now, in my opinion, I'm not surprised that those belts are on clearance because there's not a lot of parents that's buying AEW belts for their kids. Because, in my opinion, AEW is not really a kid show. More kids are more kids know about WWE, and that's thanks to John Cena. Whereas though AEW kind of caters to more of adults, like they always talking about the 18 to 48 demographic. So them not selling the toy belts doesn't really surprise me because it's like y'all not catering to kids. Not that they're doing like bra and panties matches, stuff like that, but there's, a lot of blood, cursing, and stuff like that. Good luck to explaining that to a 5-year-old. But yeah, I'm not surprised that their belts aren't really selling. But I think I think it more likely it could be it's that big of a clearance because wherever this Walmart is at is probably not a lot of AEW fans like that. So there's an influx of AEW titles. So let's get into the recaps. I'm going to start off with WWE, and then I'll get into AEW and my preview for Forbidden Door, which is this week. So starting off with SmackDown last week, like I had said, Vince McMahon opened the show. Now the crowd was mainly cheering, but there was a couple of boos in there. I have to give it to that crowd. There was a couple of people who were booing. But like I said, people were shaking his hand, cheering for him, singing his song and stuff like that. Overall, SmackDown was okay. There were some things that were just like, you kind of shake your head to a few things, like the last laugh match. No one knew what the rules were. The rules, now I didn't see like the beginning part of the match, so I don't know if the rules were explained at that part beforehand, but it was basically a regular match. And then Madcap Moss grabbed the mic and then laughed, and that was it. And I don't know where he goes from here, who he's going to go against after this. But, I'm fine that he's no longer wearing the suspenders. He is rocking the 1999 Goldberg gear. But I am interested to see where we're going to go from here after that. I'm not going to complain about the gear that's all black and a bit generic because it's definitely a big step up from the suspenders that he was wearing with the Hoochie Daddy shorts, as they like to call them. Then Corbin turned his attention to Pat McAfee, so I don't know if we're going to get a match out of them at some point. Who knows? Then we had the New Day versus Jinder Mahal, and I think it was Shanky. And Shanky likes to dance. So, he started dancing when Xavier Woods started playing on the trombone. And I mentioned in a previous episode that they weren't really concentrating on the men's Money in the Bank match, but wow, have we just started rolling people in. So now we have a lot of people who have qualified for the Money in the Bank contract match. We have Seth freaking Rollins, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, Omos this past week, Shinsuke Nakamura, or Sami Zayn, and then 3 more people. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Also, For the women too, we are slowly getting it together. We have Lacey Evans, Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Asuka, and then it's either Aaliyah or Shotzi, and then two more people. So we're getting that together as well. We have Ronda Rousey going against Natalya for the SmackDown Women's Championship. The Twitter beef is really good, but I don't know. Unfortunately, I am not interested in this feud. I didn't even really give it a chance, unfortunately, to to really give me the chance to get invested. It's just like on paper, I'm not interested. Hopefully the match will turn out better on the pay-per-view than what I expected, but it's just the building of Natalya over the past couple of years is just, I don't know, this feels like a throwaway feud. It should be very interesting, especially the fact that Natalya was the one who trained Ronda Rousey, but it's just like zero chance that Natalya is going to win here. And I know they're gonna do a couple of like near finishes and stuff like that. And it's not gonna be believable to me at all. A match I am looking forward to that I think will be a really good match is the Usos versus the Street Profits for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. Now, I highly doubt that the Usos are going to lose the titles unless, they're losing the titles just to disappear for the summer along with their cousin. But one of the things that WWE does, and AEW is starting to do it, is that they pretty much give you the match before they give you the match. So now, since this is a tag team match, we have for example, like Jey Uso versus Angelo Dawkins. I'm sure, then there'll be Jimmy Uso versus Montez Ford, and it might be like a 3-on-3 tag team match type of situation. And so it's just like you already see what could happen, and so once you get like the full match, it kind of like the magic is no longer there. I really miss when, with a lot of feuds where, especially people who haven't gone against each other. Well, no, I know the Usos and Street Profits went against each other, but it's just like, don't give it to us so much, I guess I should say. Whereas though, you can give it to us on the pay-per-views and stuff like that, but to give it to us like every single, Raw, SmackDowns or whatever, not every single pay-per-view, but just give it to us in like bite-sized pieces so that we can like miss it. And then also what was recently announced is for the United States Championship, we have Theory going against Bobby Lashley. So, things are coming together. I'm sure we're going to get probably like maybe one or two more matches thrown in here. I'm sure, Kevin Owens and, Elias or Ezekiel or Elrod, I think Kevin Owens has said, will be added or something like that as well. And also the other title, what is it? We're still missing a match for the IC title and the European title. I keep forgetting who's the European champion. I know Gunther in red. He is the IC title, and now he hates America. That's, I've seen it coming, but I'm happy for Gunther, aka Walter, for winning the title. Looks so much better too. Definitely has lost a lot of weight as well. We had Shayna Baszler versus Raquel, as I had mentioned, for the qualifier match for the Money in the Bank as well. And Shayna lost to a chokeslam. And I'm also confused about Lacey Evans. I don't know if she's a good person or a bad person. They mentioned on commentary, when she was on commentary, about her story and growing up and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, if they're mentioning her story that she kept talking about on SmackDown, I'm guessing she's a good, I guess she's a babyface, because you can't have her be a heel and she's an abuse, victim. That isn't really a good look. But I'm going to assume Lacey is good until they tell us otherwise, or they just, completely, screw it up. But yeah, Gunther hates America. He cut up, it was a promo that they cut backstage. Yeah, he hates America, which, it's kind of expected. Whenever there is a foreign wrestler, they turn him heel, and then suddenly he hates America. And, we can't just have we do have some foreign wrestlers that are baby faces. Very rare that they really, stick to it. But, it is what it is. I just hope that, his title reign is more exciting. We also have Riddle versus Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns pretty much clocked in and clocked out. Clocked in, we know Riddle wasn't going to win. He tried to RKO the Tribal Chief. He didn't know that you cannot RKO the Tribal Chief, but Roman won with the spear. It was a good match. It was a really good match. But yeah, Roman pretty much clocked in, said, this is my match. I'll see you MFers at SummerSlam. And he cut a first of all, when the match ended, it was like a clear 8 minutes left. I knew, they're in Minnesota. We saw the writing on the wall. I don't know if the cue came late or something, but Roman Reigns had like cut a promo and said there's no one left and stuff like that. And then he was done the promo. They like played his music a little bit. And then, of course, Brock Lesnar comes out. The bearded cowboy he is this time. Felt like, I don't know if he wasn't ready or something like that, but the timing of him coming out was a bit off, I should say. Of course, the crowd popped for it. And now we're going to get Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. So here we go again. It is what it is, with Cody being out and Randy Orton out allegedly. It was supposed to be Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns for SummerSlam. But when in doubt, bring Brock out. So we're getting Brock versus Roman out. What is this? The 9th, 10th time, 15th time? I think they're trying, sometimes what WWE likes to do, they like to reset records. So maybe they're trying to break the record of most matches within a feud. Because we know that John Cena and Randy Orton, I don't know, they did 100 matches or something like that going against each other. So maybe that's what WWE is trying to do. They're trying to surpass the amount of matches within a feud. Because I'm sure this isn't going to be the end of Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. And, I just hope at least we'll get something, like the match won't feel the same as all the others. Because the last time they went against each other, it's like this pattern with all their matches where Brock Lesnar comes out very dominant, and then Roman Reigns gets a little bit of offense in, and then Brock dominates again, and then Roman Reigns gets a second win. He starts doing a spear, Superman punch, and stuff like that. And then Brock Lesnar does the F5, and then, they're laid out and stuff like that. And then Roman Reigns does a spear, and then 6 Superman punches, and then he wins. I just hope we just have dominant versus dominant. Just take the gloves off and just go at each other. We don't need I don't want to see that pattern again. I don't want to see Brock Lesnar get dominant and then Roman Reigns sit there and get the second win. I don't want to see that ever again, because Roman Reigns have shown that he's been very dominant. So it shouldn't be no reason why Roman Reigns can't go toe to toe, pound for pound against Brock Lesnar now. And then going into Raw last night, it was all about the women's division. We had the match to determine who's going to be facing Bianca Belair at Money in the Bank, because Rhea Ripley is not medically cleared, unfortunately, to go against her. In the end, it was Carmella. And so we're going to have Carmella versus Bianca Belair at Money in the Bank. Not as exciting as it would be with Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair, but okay. I wish I don't know. I would have been fine more with, I don't know, Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. I would have been fine more with Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. I would have been fine more with Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. I would have been fine more with Bianca Belair versus Bianca Belair. I would have been fine more with I would have been fine more with I don't know, like I know we won't be. I know it won't make sense to make it like Becky versus Bianca Belair, but maybe like even Asuka versus Bianca Belair would have been a little more exciting. Like no shade to Carmella, but Carmella versus Bianca Belair doesn't really excite me. But maybe she'll prove me. Maybe she'll prove me wrong, and this will be, one of those sleeper matches that we really didn't expect to turn out to be good. So who knows? The biggest thing that we got, because we got a lot of different matches, stuff like that. We had Theory doing the posing. Once again, he had the mic like he was Tony Robbins or something like that, and um, giving motivation speeches. And Bobby Lashley comes out, and that's when we're getting I think we're getting Bobby Lashley versus Theory, this Money in the Bank as well. But we had the return of Elias. And I was very interested to see how they're going to pull it off. First of all, something told me that they was going to throw a beard on him and give him, the fake hair. But I figured it was going to be all backstage, which at first it was backstage. They were sitting across from each other on the couch and stuff like that. The thing that cracked me up was the fist bump when they tried to fist bump each other, and they clearly, not only were they off, but they didn't touch. Like, they would have been better off doing the Demolition Man high five. When you get close to the high five, you do the circle. You could have easily done that. If you've never seen Demolition Man, definitely check it out. Really good movie. And then we had Elias, who appeared in the ring. First of all, props to WWE for trying to pull it off, with the backstage segment with Elias and Zeke. However, they really didn't take into account that there are people like myself who has really good definition on TV. So when you're watching, shows and stuff like that, it really gives you like really good details. And so I can really see how bad the beard was looking. Obviously, it was like very fake. Definitely looked like the jaunts that you would see on the high school productions of Passion of Christ, or well, not Passion of Christ, the high school productions of, the Christmas, whenever they need someone to play a dad or Jesus or something like that, they throw that bad boy right on. The hair looked really good, couldn't tell or anything like that, but that beard, man, that beard was looking really rough. And I fully expected Kevin Owens to pull a Miracle on 34th Street and try to tug at it. I was praying that, the glue or whatever they was using to hold on to it would be really there. But we had Zeke show up on the Titantron while, Lights was in the ring. Of course, that was going to happen. And then, of course, the Elias did pull the Jeff Jarrett, hit Kevin Owens with the guitar. Kevin Owens comes to the back, hurt his knee, poor guy. All he's trying to do is just get the truth out there. Hurt his back. He comes to the back, fell, hurt his knee. Then he gets interviewed immediately, and then Zeke shows up. So, we have that. So now we're getting a match next week between either Elias or Zeke, or if there's a third person out there. Look, this is really giving me Mick Foley, the Three Faces of Mick Foley vibes, and I'm here for it, actually. I really hope this keeps going to the Royal Rumble so that we can get Elias, Zeke, and if there's a third brother or a cousin, throw him out there too, to all appear in the Royal Rumble at the same time. Look, bring in the dad as well. We can throw in the uncle, the cousin, the cousin twice removed on the mom's side. We could bring in, we could bring in the mom, equal rights. Bring in the mom as well, just bring in the whole family. But yeah, I was cracking up during it. Like that storyline is definitely not to be taken seriously, but I found it really funny how bad the beard looked on 4K TV. But yeah, so we're gearing up for Money in the Bank, countdown to SummerSlam, and we'll see who's going to win Money in the Bank. I'm very interested to see who might get the briefcase this time, especially since we don't have Cody, we don't have Randy Orton. Might not have. I mean, Edge is out. They didn't really show Judgment Day, which I find very interesting. Um, because I'm very interested to see how they're going to handle Judgment Day, especially with Edge when he was the leader of Judgment Day, was cutting very good promos. Finn Balor isn't really a big promo person, so I'm very interested to see how they're going to handle that as well. So going over to AEW, we are on the road to Forbidden Door, the pay-per-view featuring AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling. And when it was initially announced, I was excited for it because I was like, okay, cool, a lot of people, I know some names from New Japan, can't wait to see them in the ring, all good and well, the matchups and stuff like that. And then it's just like problem after problem after problem. CM Punk is injured now. Don't know if Daniel Bryan is going to be cleared medically. There's people who are missing from AEW side. Andrade and the Lucha Bros cannot wrestle. And so now we are a couple of days away from Forbidden Door, and I'm not that excited for it. Unfortunately, I feel like the lead up to this has been booked very poorly. AEW has this big thing, like there is clear that they are targeting a niche audience, a select few of the wrestling audience who watches everything. And there are some of us that, are coming over from NXT who I know names from New Japan, but there are people you're introducing me to, and I'm like, I don't know who this person is. Why should I be excited about this? And AEW is not doing that great of a job showing me why I should be excited about this. Like, they don't do that well of promoting their own people like that. Especially people, Ring of Honor and stuff like that. But at least, they could just at least cut like a 30-second video package of some of these people. Now, as far as Tanahashi, I feel good about that. Jon Moxley definitely put him over with his promo and stuff like that, saying, I've been searching for you, stuff like that. Because they did a promo, they did a video package about that. I'm completely fine with that. Luckily, a lot of people know who Will Ospreay is, but they really didn't put him over. I mean, they showed him wrestling and stuff like that, and in my opinion, I've seen him wrestle 20 times better than what I've been seeing him do in AEW. First of all, I saw the highlights of when he was going against Jon Moxley, which was a crazy ass match. Now, as far as him versus Orange Cassidy this week, I'm very excited for that. Only because I know how good Orange Cassidy could be, because he was Fire Ant and Chikara, and I've seen him wrestle as Fire Ant Chikara, and he can go. So I'm hoping that these two can just let it all out there. And then there's other names that they had mentioned that I'm like, I don't know who this person is. Like for this now, of course I know who Suzuki is because we've seen him plenty of times before. But this Shota Umino, and I know I'm gonna butch names. I don't know who that is. But I'm excited to see, Eddie Kingston and Wheeler Yuta team up. I'm hoping that Daniel Bryan is medically cleared, because apparently Zack Sabre is calling him out. I know who that is. I've seen him wrestle before. I'm excited for that match. Don't know what we're doing with Jay White. Because apparently this week, the Go Home show, there's going to be more people that's going to come out from New Japan that's going to set up matches, stuff like that. So obviously this isn't going to be that much of a build. Like, all the building for this pay-per-view was solely concentrated on Jon Moxley and Tanahashi. But we got some Jay White from last week, but previous to that, it wasn't really much. And other than that, Will Ospreay, but the Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy kind of came last minute as well. So there really wasn't a lot of build for this pay-per-view. With what happened on Rampage, Christian turned heel. Oh my gosh, what a shock. I'm so shocked. Oh my gosh, never seen it coming. Oh my gosh, wow. Shocker of the year. We had the Acclaim come out. Leon Ruff, if you don't remember who Leon Ruff is, he was in the Black and Gold NXT. He won the North American Championship over Johnny Gargano, and he put the belt around him, and he is so tiny that it fell off. So I'm happy to see him, on with AEW. Well, not with AEW, but I'm happy to see him on TV again. I wish him success, down the road. Mox versus Dante Martin was good. It was good. I feel as though, oh man, the name I forgot who I said should have gone against Dante Martin, but it was a good match. It is what it is. But as far as Forbidden Door, I'm not really that excited. Like, it's not even completed. We don't know who Jay White is going to be going against. We don't know who else. Like, we only have one women's match. I understand that New Japan don't really have women like that, but it's just like it's still people missing. And then something occurred to me too as I'm looking at these matches. So I'm gonna go through these matches. Jon Moxley versus Tanahashi for the interim AEW World Championship. I feel as though Tanahashi may win this just because whoever wins the championship goes against CM Punk once he returns. And the original matchup was supposed to be Tanahashi and CM Punk. So I feel as though Tanahashi might win, but that also don't really make that much sense because, you're going to potentially may have your world championship disappear. I don't know how long the wrestlers from New Japan are going to be in the US for, but you could potentially be not having your title appear for a couple of months. We also have Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy. I feel as though this is going to be my favorite match of the night for the IWGP United States Championship. I think Will Ospreay may retain this championship. I feel as though it's only going to be between AEW and New Japan. I think it's possible that there may be a title change. I feel as though it's very possible that Tanahashi may win the AEW World Championship, and then depending on who Jay White may go against, an AEW person may win the IWGP World Heavyweight title. And then, if this partnership directly is working within the summer months, you can do that and then just have the title switch. I don't know how long CM Punk is going to be out for. Hopefully he'll be fine by the time All Out comes, or maybe even Full Gear if he's out for that long, and then have that title switch back. We also gonna have Thunder Rosa versus Toni Storm for the AEW Women's Championship. Look, I like Thunder Rosa, but her booking, I don't know, the booking has been crappy. And so I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm going with Toni Storm on this one. And I'm hoping with Toni Storm that they'll book the Women's AEW Championship a little bit better. But it's just not working with Thunder Rosa. It's just something not clicking. I know I feel like it's mainly booking, because the booking with Britt Baker was like 20 times better than it was with Thunder Rosa. So I'm hoping with Toni Storm, the booking will be a lot better. So next up, we have FTR going against Jeff Cobb and Great Okan versus Roppongi Vice for the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles and the IWGP Tag Team titles. The winner takes all. I say throw all these belts on FTR. They really deserve it. They're a great tag team. I still am feeling some type of way that Dax Harwood didn't make it further in the tournament of the Owen Hart tournament. And then, of course, there's so many tag teams and trios and stuff like that. For the longest of time, like, FTR has been like to the back of the line. I mean, they're just pretty much was twiddling their thumbs at one point. So I feel as though, they should win the Ring of Honor and the IWGP tag team titles. Hopefully they get a little more, they continue to get more time on AEW TV. But once Tony Khan figure out what the hell he's doing with Ring of Honor, which I hope he had a plan like before he made the purchase and not made the purchase and then figuring out the plan. But he needs to get a TV deal for Ring of Honor, figure it out, and FTR can go on with the IWGP Tag Team Championships. After that, we have the All Atlantic title, which still don't make sense how we have this with countries that border the Pacific Ocean, but whatever. We have Pac versus Miro versus whoever wins between Malakai Black and Penta versus someone from New Japan. And I didn't even look to see who was listed for the qualifier from New Japan side, but I realized something. Penta can't win this because he's not, because of I think it was AAA or CMLL, like the Lucha Bros and Andrade can't wrestle on the pay-per-view. So why do we have Penta listed here to qualify for the title if he can't be at the pay-per-view? So obviously Malakai Black is going to win here. I guess we threw Penta on here to have representation of Mexico or something, that it just don't make any sense. But here, I don't care who wins as far as New Japan. I really don't care. I hope this title goes to Miro. He needs something. I mean, this man has disappeared for 5 years or something like that at this point. I'm hoping he wins the All Atlantic title. Even, I hope he wins the All Atlantic title, and that, they do something with him, that we'll see him on TV a little more. I had liked his Redeemer. I don't know. At first I liked the Redeemer gimmick, but now it's just like, I don't know, it slightly turns a bit weird for me. It's just something, I don't know. It's not clicking for me right now, personally. But I'm hoping Miro gets the All Atlantic title. And then the 6-man tag, Eddie Kingston versus Shota Umino, who I don't know who that is. Chris Jericho threw the name out there, and the crowd really didn't react. And Wheeler Yuta going against Chris Jericho, Suzuki, and Sammy Guevara. I'm just hoping this is a good match. I mean, on paper, this should be a really good match because we have Eddie Kingston, Chris Jericho, we have the 2 New Japan Pro Wrestling wrestlers, and then Wheeler Yuta versus Sammy Guevara, which should be a good match on paper as well. But this should be a good match. I'm just going to go with Eddie Kingston here, but I feel as though this feud is going to, continue on between Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho. More likely we're going to get, a one-on-one match between them two at All Out, I feel like. But truthfully, I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't really care who wins between the 6-man tag. I just want it to be a good match. I want this pay-per-view to be at least entertaining. And then finally, Jay White going against whoever for the IWGP World Heavyweight title. Like I said before, I think whoever the person is from AEW is the one who is going to win the IWGP World Heavyweight title. Now, the crazy thing here is if Kenny Omega somehow is good enough to get back, and he's the one that goes against Jay White. Honestly, that will make the pay-per-view exciting for me, which is sad, because this should be exciting on paper, but it's just so many people missing with AEW that, and it just shows too, because I heard the ratings dropped. I feel as though the ratings dropped because AEW hasn't been doing a great job, really presenting New Japan Pro Wrestling to us. Because they're, you would have to, really watch a lot of wrestling in order to, really know everyone from New Japan Pro Wrestling, especially since a lot of the big names aren't present here. But on top of that, a lot of the big names are missing from AEW. CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole is injured as well. MJF is disappeared. We don't know what's going on with that. And so all that's left are, while yes, there are the people who are left are exciting. We don't have Andrade, we don't have the Lucha Bros, so we're not going to get a lot of high flying. Jeff Hardy got arrested. The Young Bucks aren't even being entertained in this pay-per-view. So it's just it's a lot of things missing from this pay-per-view. This pay-per-view, while it should be booked like this like when WWE had the Worlds Collide with NXT, like I feel as though Worlds Collide was like more exciting, but was booked more excitingly than what we're getting here. Like this feels like a throwaway pay-per-view, if that makes sense. Like I'm guessing. All right, here's what I really think. I think this was supposed to be a very exciting pay-per-view. However, when they decided to do this deal and this pay-per-view, very exciting. But then all these issues came with their top stars from both companies who either cannot do the pay-per-view, is injured, or, is missing, basically. And so, unfortunately for Tony Khan, allegedly he has like things planned out for years, which I don't know how, if he's still picking up people from the free agency. But apparently he like has things planned out. So he probably had like the whole thing planned out for this Forbidden Door. Then we have CM Punk injured, we have Daniel Bryan injured, Adam Cole injured, MJF pretty much don't want to work for the company anymore. And now he has to do the last minute scrambling. And I think that's the biggest fall with the pay-per-view, is that he isn't able to pick stars from the roster he has now and book this pay-per-view to still be exciting. And it can be done because before Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson and CM Punk came, AEW was still exciting. Before we had these three big names. So I'm not really sure why, without those three big names, suddenly there is a struggle to make a pay-per-view exciting again. So I don't know what's going to happen as far as with Jay White. I'm going to guess that, the biggest thing that could turn it around would be Kenny Omega. And then, Bryan Danielson hopefully is, able to be medically cleared for the pay-per-view, so we can have Zack Sabre come and have him come and get challenge him for a match as well. We also, I guess they're waiting to see how bad Adam Cole is injured, because I thought we was gonna have like an Undisputed Elite Bullet Club thing going on, but it doesn't even seem like that's done disappeared. And yeah, I had to like really look at New Japan Pro Wrestling roster, because I'm like, I feel like there's a lot of people missing from this. But yeah, I don't know, it's just like, it's poor booking from both sides. It mainly from AEW, from Tony Khan, because this is happening on US soil, and this is while, both companies' names is listed, this is mainly AEW's pay-per-view. I feel as though this pay-per-view is mainly the responsibility of Tony Khan, and while you have a roster, even though it's a limited roster because it's whoever New Japan is willing to send over to the US to wrestle, I feel as though this could have been booked a lot more better. Now, hopefully, Dynamite, the go-home show, will definitely, make things a lot more exciting. Very similar to how, what was it? The feud between, who was it? It was a feud between, I think it was Moxley and Hangman Page. I think it was. There was a match between those two that kind of made, no, it was actually, no. It was Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley. That they cut a promo like maybe the week of the pay-per-view, and all of a sudden it made the match like 20 times more exciting. So maybe that's what we're going to get here again, that, whatever happens at the go home show for Dynamite will make this pay-per-view a lot more exciting, but I'm not really feeling it. And unfortunately, this isn't like with WWE where you can just pay $5 for the Peacock that Peacock app where you can get the pay-per-view. You're expecting people to pay $50 for this. You're expecting people to, buy tickets to go to the arena for it. It's in Chicago. Chicago is a very big wrestling town. And I'm like very sure, 99% sure the wrestling fans in Chicago probably know damn near all the people from New Japan. So definitely a great place to pick as far as to have this pay-per-view. They're going to be loud, they're going to cheer, they're going to make the pay-per-view very exciting. So as far as that, unless, we get something that completely sucks ass, I feel as though the crowd is going to make this pay-per-view still enjoyable no matter what. But unfortunately for us at home, who you're trying to entice to pay $50 for this, for a lot of people who, from New Japan that you really didn't introduce that well to, even with Excalibur giving, giving a little bit of an exposition of who this person is and stuff like that, it's better to give me a little bit of a promo package for it. And I know that sometimes AEW does this like control center thing on YouTube, like an hour or a couple of hours before Dynamite. But for people who are watching Raw, SmackDown, and Dynamite and Rampage, stuff like that, we ain't got that much time to really check out things on YouTube. I barely watch Dark and Elevation. So, just take a quick 10 minutes and just do a quick promo package. Something that WWE does sometimes is a bit annoying is that they will do a promo package while someone is in the ring, which doesn't really work well for the crowd in the ring. But maybe before a match, do a quick promo package of, okay, this is who, like they did with Jon Moxley and Tanahashi. That was done perfectly. That tells me, okay, this Tanahashi is someone because Jon Moxley has been looking to face this person for 2 years, and then, Moxley cut the promo saying, I've been looking for you for 2 years, this is in a third. Cool, that's all well and good. But for some of these other names, like even if someone don't really know who Will Ospreay is, we got to see him in the ring a few times with Jay White. They really didn't, I don't think he wrestled with AEW. But, at least show us, like, why we need to care. Why are you making us pay $50 for this? Especially 30 days after we've just paid $50 for Double or Nothing, and around 60 days before you want us to pay another $50 for another pay-per-view. So, make it worth our while. So, not that excited for Forbidden Door, but hopefully Dynamite changed my mind. So fingers crossed for that. But that's it for the Wrestlebread podcast. That's all I really got. Hopefully Dynamite will give me something. I'll do an updated video on my thoughts about the pay-per-view as well. But shout out to Julian Rob Bates from Wrestling Court Podcast on AlternativeMinds.com. Keita and Jay from the Keita and Jay Show, Chris from We Talk Next podcast, which is featured on the Keita and Jay Show, Nando and Larry from Half K podcast, Devin Hafiz from Clark Street Wrestling, who just returned. They just returned from a quick break, so shout out to them. Definitely check out the episode that they just released. Also, special shout outs to Straight Talk Wrestling, Circle Debate, and Top Rope Wrestling podcast as well. Coming up next week will be a review of Forbidden Door and a predictions for Money in the Bank. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at JDC137. That's JAYDEE, the letter C. And you can also find the podcast on Twitter at Wrestlebread. Be sure to click the links in the bios for the Instagram, the Facebook, and the YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe to that. Definitely going to be working on getting that going as well. But leave a review. Let me know your thoughts. How do you feel about Forbidden Door? Are you more excited for it? And if you are more excited, is it because you know who the wrestlers are from New Japan and you know what to expect from them? But yeah, let me know how you feel. And until next time, guys, peace.